Greetings and salutations, guys, gals, and transvestites. So, did you miss me? Did you? Well, I figured you did. I mean, who would not? I am the most beloved person on the YouTube, respected in all types of bodybuilding and figure skating circles, and I have gained broad appeal to the masses with my smug yet boy next door personality and rugged good looks. Anywho, this video isn't about me tooting my own horn. I mean, I would never do that. WauwautosaTufGuy. This video today is about a little independent indie prequel called BloodStained, Curse of the Moon. Okay, so this video is finna be a bit different. So I'm gonna show all of you. You all thought I was gonna be racist and say, you people. But that race sensitivity class I took with Roseanne paid off. Yes, it did. I also had sexual intercourse with her, by the way. But that is neither here nor there. That old racist battle axe. Okay, so now back to what this beautiful mouth was saying. This is going to be a review for BloodStained, Curse of the Moon, but throughout this whole video, I will be showing myself playing and of course defeating all the bosses in this game as well, up top. So after I am done speaking my words of wisdom, this video will keep on running until the final boss is murdered by these sensitive yet savage hands. Yes. So if you are just here for the review, you can turn this video off when I'm done speaking. I have timestamps down below in the pinned comment section to help you navigate the tricky waters of my video. Okay, so first up, BloodStained, Curse of the Moon. Thanks, Amir. What? Just because I don't have a watch on a chain, you look at me like that? I mean, I'm not some psychologist. If you want that, go watch Growing Pains.
Show me that smile.
Don't waste another minute on your crying. We're nowhere near
The best is ready to begin.
I don't even remember if that's the 80s shows with a psychologist. I show all these 80s shows and I wasn't even old enough to watch half of them. Okay, Curse of the Moon is an 8-bit prequel for the upcoming game BloodStained, Ritual of the Night, which is supposed to be the spiritual successor to the old Castlevania games. Ritual of the Night is also developed by the fellow that actually made these old Castlevania games, Kirijo Igoshashi. You know, I might be saying that name wrong, so fucking telepathy, do your thing. Yeah. Psychic friends, eat your heart out. What? Is that supposed to intimidate me? Well, you know what? It fucking doesn't. And take this. That's right, motherfuckers. I can move things with my fucking mind. So, eat my shorts, nerd bombers. Whoa, so much hate spewing from Toffee Tuff's mouth. It's like Roseanne or the Donald have nothing on me. I might have to issue an apology video after I'm done with this video. Okay, to the game. The reason that Curse of the Moon was made was because the original game, or the main game, BloodStained Ritual of the Night, was a Kickstarter title that asked for $500K. That's what it needed to be developed. And it ended up getting, wait for it, $5.5 million. So the way Kickstarter does it, if a game surpasses its initial goal, the developers will make something called stretch goals. That if said game surpasses a certain amount of money donated, it will add additional things to said game. And this prequel, Curse of the Moon, was one of the stretch goals. So that is how Curse of the Moon came to be. Old Tuffy Tuff is educating you. Okay. Now that all that is out of the way, I just want to say I feel this is the way that prequels should be made. And when I say this is the way prequels should be made, I mean the prequels that aren't meant to be main games, like, God of War Ascension, or, any of the Metal Gear Solid games that were actual games in its own right. This isn't an actual game. This is meant just to kind of hype up Ritual of the Night. Curse of the Moon is not a long game. It is only $10. It looks truly like an original Nintendo game. I mean legit 8-bit in every sense of the word. And let me tell you guys, gals, and transvestite, this game really upped my excitement for BloodStained Ritual of the Night. Okay. So this is a Metroidvania type game. They named the genre after the Castlevania games, for Pete's sake. And many people like to say that Curse of the Moon borderline copies Castlevania 3. I would not know because I never played Castlevania 3. I was like 4 years old when the game came out, and I was more worried about bodybuilding back then and developing the perfect V-shape for my lats. Oh, look! It's a picture of me in the 80s. Anywho, even if this is a shameless copy of Castlevania 3, it's a pretty doggone solid one, for Pete's sake. Also, can one really copy their own work? I mean, can they? Instead of copying, let's call it Call of Dutying one's own work. I made a funny. Get it? Call of Dutying? Because everyone says the Call of Duty games make the same stuff every year, so that's why I'm calling it Call of... Yeah, okay then, okay, yeah. In this game, you control one of 4 vampire-ish people humanoid things that you can switch to at random at any time. They all have their own powers and attacks and health, instead of just having one person who unlocks powers throughout the game, like, most of the Metroidvania games do. Now, I found this to be a positive for the most part. If one of your players is getting gangbanged by meanies, you can just switch to another character to finish the level. Like every Metroidvania game, you won't be able to get to certain parts or enter places if you don't have one character. So if one dies, one part of the level might be closed off to you. Standard Metroidvania. Hoorah! The one part where I did find this unorthodox setup, I said unorthodox, not Orthodox Jews. Jeez Louise! Huh. The one part of this game I found a problem was in the boss fights. Towards the end of the game, if I would lose my first or second most powerful character, I would just let the last 2 die. So I would always respawn down 1 life, but with my whole team. This wasn't a deal breaker by any means, it was just a slight hassle. Kind of like having AIDS in 2018. What? AIDS is not fatal anymore with the proper antiviral medication. I'm just saying.
And how you doing, little partner?
Fine. And it's little visitor now. Adewayole is how you say it in Cherokee.
Oh, well, pardon my French, but I'll be damned.
Walker told me I had AIDS.
Speaking of the bosses, I'd say 6 of the 8 were very well developed and fun to play. That being said, once you understood the attack patterns, the fights really just became a matter of when you would beat them and not if you would beat them. I do understand this is a short little prequel, but I would have liked a bit more challenge and variety in the fights. But then again, this is a true old school game as I have ever played in my life, so it is what it is. Now, this is a short game for sure. I have been reading that it was taking some people only about an hour and a half to finish, but it took me about double that time, a little more, about 3.5 hours. For your first playthrough, normal is the highest difficulty available, which I think is annoying in any game. But this game does promote multiple playthroughs because there are just places in the early levels you would not be able to reach because you would not have certain characters unlocked. This game is actually fun enough that a lot of people might actually want to play it a few times. You know, not me though. My backlog is just massive, but maybe you. Hey, I'm not judging you in what you do in your personal life. You know, don't puppy tough. I just have more options, okay? Okay, now if there was one thing I did not like about BloodStained Curse of the Moon, or a con as they say, was its controls. Playing this game made me realize how far we have truly come since the Nintendo Entertainment System. Many of my platforming deaths were due to wonky controls instead of an error I made. Like I'd actually make an error in a game. Fake time being adjusted again. This game can be a bit sluggish and unforgiving, and the controls will take everyone a bit to get used to, at least I think. One last thing I'd like to say about BloodStained Curse of the Moon. If its main goal was to tide you over and get you hyped about Ritual of the Night, it succeeded 100%. I am now more excited than ever to play the main game. I even spent an hour watching early videos of it. Kudos to Curse of the Moon for upping Tuffy Tuff's hype meter. You go game! Snap, Wendy Williams!
How you doing?
I seriously hope we get a release date at this year's E3 for Ritual of the Night. And anyone that loved the Nintendo Castlevania games or just adores a legit old school style retro should pick this up right away. Just don't expect a very deep or long game, nor should you, because this is just something that was kind of tacked on, even if it really doesn't feel that way. This is good for what it is, and it is worth every red cent of its $10 price tag. Cha-ching! Okay, now let's get down to the nitty-gritty. I had a threesome with Estelle Giddy. I'm getting lippy with my wife, so she backhanded Hitty. That last one didn't rhyme. Okay, if I had to rate this game, I'd give it a 69 out of 100, which is good in my book. Also, out of the 338 games I have played and rated in my life, ooh, I'm getting towards 350, I would rate BloodStained Curse of the Moon as my 220th favorite game, just behind the Sega Genesis version of a good old helicopter named Desert Strike, Return to the Gulf. And it's also right behind Platinum Games' Transformers Devastation. Is that what it's called? Devastation? Or Destruction. I don't know. Anyway, it's the Platinum game where you play as Transformers. Also, since Curse of the Moon sits at 220, it puts it right ahead of Telltale's Walking Dead Michonne and 1993's Aladdin for the Genesis. Yeah, what? Yeah, I used to play Disney games when I was WauwautosaTufGuy. Okay. So there you have it. If you want a cheap and short yet fun indie that will give you a nostalgia kick, then buy BloodStained Curse of the Moon. But if you do end up skipping it, you won't miss anything groundbreaking. Okay, so I guess my job here is done. I hate having to say goodbye, but alas, it will not be for long, even if being away from old Tuffy Tuff does feel like an eternity. Just know that all of you will always have a special place in old Tuffy Tuff's heart. XOXO, Gossip Tuffy. Out.
am I? That's not a secret I'll never tell. You know you love me. XOXO. Gossip